Hey everybody, welcome back to Out of the Ordinary with Jay. And today I am with a science fiction ebook author by the name of Murray Shareez. And there you go, Murray Shareez. And so I've never interviewed anybody that's written a book before, or books in your case. How many books have you written?
Not all sci-fi, but I've written right now 9 books.
Oh, wow. And how many of those are sci-fi?
Four or five.
Well, what are the other ones? What kind of books?
I have 3 illustrated joke books.
Oh, wow.
I have 2 plays.
Wow.
Trying to think what else? Like A Partridge in a Pear Tree. I'm an eclectic writer. I don't write specifically sci-fi, but I write other things.
Wow. And how long have you been an author?
I was writing poetry in the 70s.
Okay.
And that's last century for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
And I did that for about 10 years until, may I show?
Yeah, please.
I have an author friend of mine who was, there we go.
Yeah. Let's move that even closer.
By the name of Ray Bradbury, who...
Everybody's heard of Ray Bradbury.
Who I met when I was a teenager. I enjoyed reading the Martian Chronicles. I wrote to his publisher in New York. The publisher sent my letter to his home in California, and he wrote me back on his own stationery with his own address on the envelope, thanking me for thanking him for writing the Martian Chronicles. I was 15. I then sent him that copy of the Martian Chronicles. He signed it and sent it back to me, and that started 40 plus years of all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So I knew him for quite a while. So getting back to the point, so after about 10 years of reading my poetry, which he really liked, Murray, he said, time for you to start writing books. He liked the poetry, but he kind of kicked me in the proverbial whatever it is to start writing. So I started writing at that time, which would have been in the 80s.
Okay.
Of course, I kept up with him as well. We stayed in touch, and I eventually became...
Wasn't there a thing called Ray Bradbury Theater or something
Bradbury
like?
Theater, yeah. And
yeah, he's pretty famous.
Actually, when I met him, he was 47. I guess I was like 15. He was like 47.
Wow.
And we became friends over decades after
amazing.
that. One of those pictures I had shown here a minute ago was like 6 months before he passed away in 2012. That was taken. I spent a Sunday afternoon reading poetry to him at his home out in California. Wow. So...
kind of a special relationship. That's pretty cool.
He also signed hundreds of my books. I have hundreds of Ray Bradbury books, and
oh wow,
yeah.
So your sci-fi seems to be the one that you've written the most about. Like, is there an overall arching theme, or is it just kind of different on every book?
The books are different. I mean, I have my first book was The Elocutionist's Tale, which actually that picture that I showed a minute ago of Bradbury about 6 months before he passed away, the book that's under his left elbow
is that book?
Is my book. Is the one that I signed to him, which was a total reversal of decades of him signing books.
Isn't that great?
To me, and this was me signing the book to him.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So what is it about writing books and stories that you like? What is the because some people, right, they go out and they throw a football around, and some people become accountants, and some people, do this or do that, and then not.
It's a very lonely endeavor.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
To me, because I'm a very slow, ponderous writer, and for me, a book can take, a year or 2 to write. It's just like I'm regimented enough that I actually have a part of every day that I will just totally devote to the writing, which is very similar to Bradbury. Bradbury would write in the mornings and sleep in the afternoons. So,
you got to go when you're feeling it, I guess.
Yeah. But
I've never been a writer like that, but I was just thinking the way that my own mind works is like, say I was coming up for an idea for a story, right? And I was passionate about it, which made me think, okay, maybe I'll write about this. Like, I would think it'd be so hard to get it all out fast enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, I don't want to forget that and that and that, and this links to that. And then, like, it'd be almost stressful. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that? Or is that just me? Maybe that's
no, it's, a lot of times I come up with the title before I even know what the story's going to be about. I had this, I wrote...
I sound like a musical artist in that because they do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a book that's out called Mucus Supremacus, The Prophet of Nil. Just the name, Mucus supremacus. For whatever reason, I thought of it one night.
That's got to be one of the comedy ones, or is that a sci-fi one?
It's a serious one.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
That sounds
and
awesome.
the name, I couldn't shake the name. I'm just going Mucus supremacus. So anyway, I was going to the World Science Fiction Convention in San Jose, and Greg Bear, who's now gone, but he was a pretty famous sci-fi writer.
Okay.
I told him that. I just threw the name at him. I said, "Hey, Greg, what do you think of this title?" I said, "Mucus supremacus," and he kept mumbling it over. He started smiling.
It is catchy.
He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Now, as long as I had another major sci-fi writer who was, said like, you go for it." I said, "Okay." So I wrote a novella.
So I don't know that much about ebooks, honestly, but what's your longest one you've written? If it was I got this, whatever. I got this book right here, normal, just whatever. How many pages would, say, one of yours be?
Well, again, you're talking novella versus books. I mean, my books could be like 300, 400 pages.
Oh, big.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are books.
Yeah, that's very big.
Yeah. But again, I've written plays that are just half that size, and just, to me, I had written what I thought was the world's shortest sci-fi short story. But I was debunked, or not debunked, but I think some European group, whatever, they did something with molecular, like little molecules forming little something that they technically could become a story. So they said, no, that's the world's, for me, it's called Recognition on Mars. I have one alien going you, and the other one going me. That was it. That's the whole story. And it's called Recognition on Mars.
I believe that qualifies as a short story.
It's got characters. It may have pathos, like you with an exclamation, me. So there you go. How much more do you want from a story?
So what is the best part of being an author? Like, what do you like the most about it?
Notoriety. I'm a part narcissist, and
Okay.
I love being.
So if somebody asked you to sign a book or something, you're all for that.
I'm not saying Bradbury was a narcissist, but he was a very prolific signer.
Yeah, I don't know. I think anybody that, first of all, I don't know of hardly anybody that wouldn't feel good about signing their name to something, right? I mean, I think that's part of the human condition to feel appreciated. So I don't think that's, you know what I mean? So, but okay. So
I enjoy other people giving me feedback who enjoy what I write.
Oh, gotcha.
For me, I don't know if I would stop even if they said, that is horrible.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you ever get any like pushback growing up since you stopped so young? Like no, you got to go be a doctor, or you got to do did you get some, like, don't do that?
Very early in my book writing process, I had a older gentleman come up to me one day and goes, I'd written a short story, and no one had even read it yet except for me. And I had him read it. Okay. And he saw me, and he goes, "Your short story made me physically ill. Reading your short story made me physically ill."
Wow.
And I took it, it's like getting buffed, kind of in the face all of a sudden. And then I thought about it, and instantly I went, if I can write something that could affect someone at such an emotional base level like that, I must be doing something right.
That is awesome.
If you can move a person, whether it's joy, anger, boredom, whatever, if you can do that and elicit that kind, and I will tell people that on other interviews I've done, and my writing past, I said I took it as a positive, not a negative, because I had 98% of people telling me, it's not all great. Some people like them. Some people think my stories are interesting, and then I have other people that say, I can't wait to, like, they were reading one of my books, and I said, I can't wait to get up the next day to keep reading the novel. So
I think that people that persist with their passions and things like that, or they're professionals are really good at something, I think they have to take it like you do, which is no matter what the feedback or the criticism is, they take it as a, more of a launching. Like, I'm just going to keep going. Like, oh, you loved it? Great. I'll give you something else you love. Oh, you didn't like it? That's okay. I'll do better. Or you found it interesting. What, you know what I mean? Like, you almost have to have that. It seems like those that are the high performer, you know what I mean? As opposed to because you could have gotten that feedback and very easily okay, I'm done. I'm out of here, right? I mean, I think that would be the most common response, to be honest with you.
Bradbury liked my poetry. He liked my early short stories that I was showing him.
That's nice.
I don't know if you ever heard of Pete Seeger, singer-songwriter.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, he was the illustrations consultant on my children's book.
Oh, wow.
And Pete, one of the letters that he sent back to me, he says, "You're a good storyteller," and I laminated that. I kept it forever. If Pete Seeger, Mr. Tambourine Man, Turn, you go all down the list of everything he's ever written, says, "You're a good storyteller."
I guess that's good for about 100 no's. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like, or at least maybe 1,000. I don't know.
So I've got a good list of people who have enjoyed, prominent people who have enjoyed my works. And
that would help. Do you have? Are you working on anything right now?
Right now, the only thing I'm working on is getting that 9th book. It's being formatted right now, so I'm just. I try not to jump too far ahead. In other words, I almost wait for the last thing I wrote to. Get out.
So you're saying you've written a new one,
right?
But it's being
whatever format, put together, yeah.
Oh, okay, so you have a new one coming out.
Yeah.
Do you know what the title is or what it's about right now?
The new title is. I should know this. Let me see. I almost did. I'm brain.
Well, that's right. Harder to promote it this way, to be honest with you, but that's okay. It's not out anyways yet, so it wouldn't matter. What's it going to be about though?
Well, it's a compilation, but it's one play, and I believe 3 short stories.
Oh, I don't know what compilation means. Why?
A grouping of 3 of my short stories.
Oh, okay, to produce a play.
No. The play. No, it's a play is a separate play. The play is like the first part of the book is the play, and then 3 of my short stories follow up after that.
Okay, so I'm not sure how that. I don't know that much about that type of entertainment. So somebody does.
It would be like Bradbury. Bradbury's books were a lot of them were just compilations of his short stories. I mean, they're just slapped together in one book.
Gotcha.
With an overall theme, like the Martian Chronicles. Each little chapter.
So this play and these 3 short stories all added together. Do you have a guesstimate on pages?
It's actually one of my bigger ones, and I don't know offhand.
300
at least.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have a project in mind next. You're going to wait till this is checked off the list, and then maybe something will come to you. Is that the kind of way it works?
Right now, I'm mulling some stuff. I wrote a short story about what happens to someone who gets frozen at Alcor and comes back, and their experiences of what's happened to them.
I'm so going to use that as a segue to another video I did with this guy because that was perfect. You set that up very nicely.
I believe the title, I think it was Life Can Be Hell at minus 196 degrees centigrade or something like that. And it's literally what happens to this guy when he opens his eyes and there he is. He's back.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is my last question for you. If you had to give somebody some advice or an inspiring author, a young person that's trying to get writing is maybe they're, a little discouraged or I don't know, what would you tell them or what would you give?
Perseverance.
Yeah.
Don't give up. If belief in oneself is really the greatest thing that you could have. Naysayers abound. They're everywhere. People that will denigrate, put you down for anything and anything. Jealousy, whatever it is. Why what's so special about you?
Right, you're going for it, and therefore I don't. I've got to take this normal job, and you look like you might be having fun, or something. I don't know. So basically, what you're saying is it's likely. And this is true of basically, I think, most things. There's going to be some naysayers and some people that are not encouraging, and you're saying, hey, just stick with it if it's something you're really into.
I think it's not a guarantee that you will ever reach whatever goal that you want, whether it be fame, notoriety.
Yeah.
Some people do it just as a hobby, just because they enjoy it. If you like doing what you're doing and don't expect a lot of money back from it, or who knows, or giant echoes of acclaim down the centuries. I don't know. For me, it was the writing. It was a progression just from poetry to short stories and again with Bradbury's push. He liked my stuff. Do it. And so I almost feel like now he's given me a mandate. To carry on his lineage.
Seems like encouragement went a long way with you, and it would have gone, and it goes a long way with most people.
Forrest Ackerman, who put Ray kind of into business. Forrest Ackerman was the person who coined the term sci-fi. Wow. So my lineage goes back to the gentleman who came up with the word sci-fi.
Wow. Well, sounds like you better get writing. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, sir.